I'm Wayne Herschel. This is my Atlantis claim that follows the 1925 claim for the area of Donana in Spain. This is part 2, following on from part 1, which is this YouTube video here that was launched on the 7th of November, securing my claim. Okay, it's a video that primarily targets analysis of the main element of my discovery claim, which is the alien geoglyphs and the message decoded. I'll also recap on proving the lost continent of Atlantis, the circular canals, and a whole new claim proving ruins. There are ruins there. This is the alien geoglyph. That's a 4-kilometer wide area from that border to there. That is huge. This is in the area of Donana. 3 miles wide, 4 kilometers. Why it's important to me is Atlantis was the ground zero point for establishing a colonization on Earth over 12,000 years ago, and they had these islands in what's the word, perspective, that the whole thing made an as above so below reflection of the heavens, Pleiades, sun-like star. This is the star map that I have written about previously, and it's repeating all over the world. Proof of the lost island continent. I'm just going to recap. Spain and Portugal, I believe, was once in that position. My other video covers the impact event that caused the crustal sliding of this landmass. It's a continent-sized landmass from there to there. There's an imprint on the ocean bed, and there are the Pleiades Islands. They even called them the Pleiades Islands in Plato's account. There's Donana, there's my Atlantis claim site, matching the 1925 claim. I believe that is part of the proof of the landmass as an island continent, together with the impact that is in my part 1 video. Proof of canals, a quick recap. This is the area of Donana right here. I noticed the fingerprint of these canals. If you look very carefully, see if you can see the original shape. Remember, this is a landmass that is distorted. It's had incredible biblical flood event take place over it, so everything's distorted and pressed. But there still is the remaining shape of the canals. That's where the alien geoglyphs are that I'm going to look at just now. Look closely. That, I believe, is what it once looked like. And the ruins that I'm going to be looking at are right on this frontal area here. That's where the position of these alien geoglyphs are. Is it a coincidence they're in alignment with the canal? I think that's one clue to it, to prove its alignment intention. So that's part of the tilt explained. There's more to this tilt, you'll see just now when we look at it astronomically. The other Atlantis group that is making a claim that was a week public after mine, open public a week later after my launch, is the Merlin Burroughs Atlantis account. I want to look at their results. I was expecting some sort of appearance of ruins like this in this area with the ground penetrating radar, but they have something that was a bit of a disappointment, you'll see. Right, let's look at how these alien geoglyphs are formed. This is the area of Donana. It's a big flat plain, usually swamped in rainy season and dry and flat like this in the summer season. That happened literally overnight, just before 2011. An indentation of ground on a massive scale. And I want to show you how massive that is. How do you make this indentation on such a large scale? You've got to question. It's impossible without large land and earth moving equipment, and it'll take years and there'd be roads all over the show. That's what they look like today. The ground penetrating radar, I've done a sketch. It's pretty much showing something completely different. I'm going to go to that next, but first I want to claim my 57 ruins. They're all along the front area of that first Atlantis island. If you look carefully, near the river edge are the remains of indentations with land masses that are quite large. I mean, that's like a football field size space in there. You can see some of them. These are very distorted. I'm going to get to the better ones just now. Okay, that's a road. That is the field surrounded by water. So it's got this low indentation around a raised object, and there's a pattern that lays out here. There's a whole bunch of them, mainly like this, like a figure of 8 with land masses on the inside. There's 57 of these in a very sequential layout pattern. It just keeps going on and on. Same pattern. Some have got these figure of 8 patterns, and some have got square patterns. That is a house over there. Look at them. These are amazing. There's a big landmass that's bigger than the whole area of the house and property. And this just keeps going around. Here are probably ruins waiting to be excavated right there. But these are the ruins that I'm claiming all around the water's edge. It just keeps going. 57 of them over many miles. Let's zoom in on this one. That's 100 meters across. These are around about 20 meters in each island. Let's call it an island in this little recessed dip. So it's a recessed dip and then a raised mass of land. You put the Statue of Liberty there, that's the size of it. I believe these are the base ruins of what held statues all around the front of the island on Atlantis. All right, let's go back to the geoglyphs and let's see how alien it really is. There's now the rough sketch of what the Merlin Burroughs team claimed that there are best hit readings in these circles. Their interpretation of this is these are ruins. This is a dip. Is it possible that a land mass, that a land surface that has been pushed in, indented, would identify any sort of ruin? Okay, let's think of what it looks like. Here is the ground level in the Denana Park. This is a cross-section through the land. If there were blocks underneath there, there'd be floods and periods of drought and floods and periods of drought. You would expect maybe that would form like that. Well, in a swamp flatland area, water stays level. All your silts all stay level. You won't get anything that shows bumps like that, because each time it washes in, it'll get flattened and you'll get that. So until these ruins in that area break the surface, only then can they be claimed as ruins. And that'll look something like that. But that hasn't happened. In the area of the alien geoglyphs, that's totally flat soil that's been indented with the alien geoglyphs. And the area we're looking at is right over there. Okay, I'm going to look at size, I think now. First of all, compared to some crop circles. Remember, crop circles are fields of wheat that have been pressed. They've also been pressed, indented to make these shapes. This one has a very similar Orion concept. This is quite a recent one in Dorset. Note also an angle tilt. There was another one actually close to the period when the geoglyphs appeared in Denana, 12th of May 2011, Madisonville, Tennessee. Look at this angle of tilt from north. There's your true north. This is the angle. Now, is it a coincidence? These have the exact same tilt off this grid pattern that was chosen for these aliens to leave a message. They've chosen a grid pattern field. These are modern boundary markers for plantations. I don't know what they were growing there or what there was experimented there. They're all marked out in these rectangles that can make squares if you cut them in half. There's another one, same area in America, Orion depiction, I believe it is. And the story is that a sheriff was called because of noise of like piezoelectric sounds in the air. He got in a helicopter and flew over the area, and this is what he photographed. So these are not people just trying to make, let's call it a tourist attraction, because I believe 99% of crop circles are fake. But there is 1% that are real, and they're very rare. How big is this area? If I tell you it's 4 miles across, it doesn't really mean much to anybody. If I put that crop circle in here that you've just seen, those big crop circles, it will be a spot on that little dot over there. If I put the Giza pyramids on here, how big do you think it would look? Would it fill the screen, or would we even get it in the picture? That's the size of the Giza pyramids compared to this massive geoglyph. Some of these base, larger ones are almost the size of the Great Pyramid. Just in case you're not sure what the pyramids look like from above, that's the size comparison to these geoglyphs. Right, going back onto Google Earth, let's take you through the story of what is visible on Google Earth in this area. Somebody is blocking out these pictures very quickly. The 2002 has got a blockage. 2003, there is that field area. Absolutely nothing. It's been like this for, as far as records that we can count so far, 50 years at least in Danana, of flat fields, people planting, no reports of anything unusual. March 2004 image, Google Earth. Between 2004 and 2011, they used this image. So somewhere in this area, probably just before 2011, literally overnight, that happened. And there it is. September 2011 is the last, as far back as we can go. From that to that. Every single ellipse pattern appeared all at one time. Humans can't do that. You'd see roads and excavation and a whole, maybe a 10-year project to do this effect. Let's look at just a close-up area of one little area, the October 2004 image, September 2011 image. You can see this area here, you'll identify. There's no signs of ruins or anything. This is flatland, swamp in winter, dry, flat sand in summer. And the water fills in these areas and changes the color. Now that radar pattern showed higher density in these regions. Guess what? The force that was used to indent the ground would compress the soil. So we want to do core samples now in this area, outside and inside, and compare the density variance. 2012 image, 2015 image, another 2015 image, a few months apart, 2017 image, 2018 image, the last one, the latest one. Up close, that is a car track. You can see people have driven around them. It probably goes white with perhaps salt building up because there is a bit of inland tide flow into this area. Let's look a little bit deeper now. That is the pattern. It looks very alien, doesn't it? You can notice the swastika effect up here. I believe that is the X that marks the spot. One for this side and one for that side. This is my star map of Orion showing the way to a sun-like star marker. And all these ancient star maps are found around the world. Let's see how you measure Orion rising. Orion aligns to that sun-like star, and you can see the distance that it is from Orion. And this is how it looks when it's setting. My opinion is this is the star map mirrored twice, showing stars rising and stars setting, and that is the X that marks the spot, repeating itself for both the maps. Here, those two dots that I think are representing those two dots. Sunrise, sunset, west and east, but with stars. The swastika for Orion, I'm going to prove to you in an ancient Hindu record of the arm symbol with the swastika. Here's Orion. That is how I've interpreted the swastika. This is my interpretation. My research partner, Martin Molnagop, found the arm symbol to be the most likely representation of Taurus. There's the bull's horns, the bull's head, the bull's eye, the legend of shooting through the bullseye. This goes back thousands of years. There is Orion through Taurus, through to the sun-like star and an exoplanet of our ancestors. You're seeing exactly that star map. There is that symbol that we have in Danana for Atlantis. 4 main stars of Orion, and we have the shape around. I want to explore how that shape was formed as well. There are other variations that are pre-Iron Age. These are very ancient in Italy, in the UK. This pattern has repeated itself twice exactly. So I'm just showing the one image. swastika with Orion, 4 main dots around it, a crescent and a dot, and it even draws a line from this arm. But they've also drawn one right through the middle for Orion's belt. I'll be showing that. There's Orion's belt through the middle, Orion. But they're using an arm, just like at the geoglyphs, creating that. So there's your match. There's a Templar cross symbol in Spain. Coincidence in Spain? I don't know. It's as if the ancient Templars seem to know that this symbol would come back one day. They're showing it right there in Spain in a Templar window. That is Orion as the cross of the churches, but shown with the swastika pattern, like the geoglyph. Rock that came in from deep space. Scientists are saying now it looks like an alien mechanical object that came through our solar system. And I've shown it on ancient relics as well, with Taurus. Remember, it came from the Pleiades area according to the new papers released on the study of its movement. There's my star map position, the leg, and it shows you this long type flying anomaly. I also want to show that Orion with 4 dots has been seen in some of my other star maps. 3 sun-like stars, Orion, Pleiades, and the cosmic wormhole that opens from that one there, which is the most important one, Sol 1 Primary. And you can see the cross of Orion right there. So using 4 dots like in ancient times for Orion, not unusual. Using ancient hand symbols and the cross of the churches that I proposed in my work over the last decade, that the cross of the churches is Orion, showing the way to this Bethlehem star right there, measuring through 33 degrees of arc from Orion's belt, or as you'll see using the swastika for Orion, it's a complete different thing. Take that swastika, put it in position, and we need to measure that distance there in relation to the size of Orion. That's what I believe the star map message is. It's who we are and where we come from, and a date of revisitation. Right, take that pattern again, and the swastika that we've seen, we need to measure that distance. I can't really do it accurately on the ground in an old geoglyph. Let's rather do it with the alien geoglyph. We've got a way of measuring it. They put this pattern on these squares for a reason. There's one on the line as well. There are 2 units of measure to the middle of that one. So it's the middle of that one, the middle of that one, is showing us 2 units of measure on the ground. In astronomy, we break up the hemisphere into exactly the same sort of measurements. Here I've put Orion when the Milky Way is at the top going straight now. Now that is a breakthrough on its own. If the Milky Way is going straight, that is the disk axis there. Look at the position of Orion. Here is another reason this is tilted. It's showing you Orion against the Milky Way correctly, at the exact same tilt. Now if we measure 2 units from that star there to this area, that is the X that marks the spot in all my star maps. We have 2 units. For people that want to try to turn this backwards and say, oh no, it must be Sirius. Sirius is only 1 unit of measure from that star to where Sirius is, so it's half. This is a 2 unit measure from Orion. That is the X that marks the spot in the star map. I think we've got a countdown happening. What are we going to see over Danana? What might we see, let's say? Well, the most holiest time in all these ancient civilizations to measure the sun rising on the horizon was over a period called Sol Invictus. Predates the Christian story. It was on the 25th of December. I think we're going to see something possibly like this. That V shape in that code might be showing this. This craft, I believe, straightens out for it to pass through a wormhole Stargate. So that's why it is this shape. So for stability in atmospheres, it would be the V shape. It looks like Taurus as well. Coincidence? Maybe they're inspired by that. But this whole thing probably straightens out and it can pass through a space-mounted, space-positioned Stargate that I've shown on the Sumerian artifacts in my previous work. Or will we see this? Revelation says the one who brings forth important knowledge as a messenger will hold the 7 stars in his right hand. This is a way of showing a cosmic address. Is it going to be that? We just have to wait and see. The book will be available for pre-order now. You can get it from our website. Also, my previous book, just to that, which ties in with this, is this whole story of decoding the Alpha and Omega. This is probably even bigger than this Atlantis story because it proves mechanical stargates and they're visible in ancient history. Obviously, there's a DVD version of it as well, available from thehiddenrecords.com. The music background that you're hearing is Kevin Kendall.